A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Tea Talk series organized by InCare Hub and My Aging. I know some of you have been waiting. We actually faced some technical issues just now. So for those who just in, you can say hello at the comment box so that we know that you're here. So this is actually the first series out of the 8 Tea Talk sessions, which we'll be having it in the coming weeks. And now that we are actually entering into phase 3, many routines are slowly getting back to normal. However, it might not be the same for all of us because due to psychological point of view, especially the seniors, as most of them are still restricted to certain activities. The ups and downs of events happening around us has caused many emotional and psychological issues. So how do you cope with mood changes and daily activities? So I guess today, if you are attending for yourself, or you might be attending on behalf of your parents, if you have any questions you would like to ask us or the speakers, feel free to stay on until the end of the sessions, where you can ask your questions at the comment box. So in this series, I'm very pleased to have invited Dr. Benedict Francis and also Madam Lily Fu to share the view from 2 different perspectives. So first, I would like to introduce Dr. Benedict. Dr. Benedict Francis is currently the old age psychiatrist at the University of Malaya Medical Center, as well as a lecturer at the Department of Psychological Medicine at University of Malaya. So he holds an MBBS and a Master in Psychological Medicine from the University of Malaya, and he's also the first Vice President of the Early Career Psychiatrists Association. So I know during the pandemic, Dr. Ben is very much involved in the social services. Since the beginning of the lockdown, Dr. Ben is actually one of the members in the psychological support team of UM. So without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Ben.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gillian, for the extremely kind. Hi, Dr. Gillian. Thanks very much for the extremely kind introduction. Let me just share my screen. Then we can get started. Yeah, hold on.
Sure.
Yep. Okay. All right. Can you all see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much, Dr. Gillian, and thanks to InCare Hub as well for the kind invitation to talk to you all today. So what I'm going to share with you all this wonderful afternoon is basically how to cope with the various mood changes that has been caused by, the ongoing pandemic, and also the importance of daily activities and also routine. Okay, my name is Dr. Benedict Francis, and I'm a psychiatrist who focuses on the older person's mental health, and I practice at the University of Malaya Medical Center. Now, what makes the older person more susceptible to this pandemic? How are they more susceptible to the mental health effects of the pandemic? Now, to start with, older persons are more frail. Okay, and frailty just means that it's easier for them to fall sick. It's easier for them to be in a more adverse state of health, and this gives rise to a decrease in the immune response. And a lot of data has showed that when the immune response is not so robust, it's easier for our older persons to become ill. It's easier for them to contract COVID-19, and therefore they're going to have all kinds of adverse effects of the illness. Okay, and because of this frailty, it also increases the chance of their hospitalization as well. And we have seen, and also is reflected by the data, the highest mortality rate is seen in the older person population. In fact, data from China showed that death and the rates of pneumonia is actually 3 times higher in the elderly population. Okay, and according to the CDC, which is based in Atlanta, US, more than 80% of deaths were actually found in patients aged more than 65 years old. And one of the main reasons for this is because our older persons, especially those who are admitted with COVID-19, usually have a higher load of medical comorbidities, and this makes them more susceptible to the illness. Now, on top of that, what makes their mental health worse is because older persons usually have a poor social framework. They are oftentimes neglected by their loved ones. Of course, I'm not trying to generalize here, but as far as my practice goes, I usually see our older persons, and they often tell me that this recent pandemic has made it more difficult for them to see their loved ones, and there is a certain amount of neglect as well. The strict lockdown policies has obviously made it very difficult for them to meet their loved ones, to access healthcare, and also to receive medication. Even in my own hospital, because of the pandemic, we have actually halved our clinic load. In fact, since the beginning of the year, so it has made it more difficult for our older persons to seek health care and also to seek help. Okay, on top of that, there is a continuous stream of negativity seen on the media. Every time you on the TV or you look at social media, there's all kinds of bad news and bad coverage about this pandemic. There are news of worsening mortality, increase in death rates, especially amongst the older person population, and this has also negatively impacted on their mental health. Okay, to make things worse, older persons are also more susceptible to loneliness as well, and this is actually what we've seen in this pandemic. That more older persons are becoming lonely because they can't see their loved ones. They are separated by this divide. They can't cross the state. So they have to rely on digital technology, which obviously they're not so good at. This has also given rise to a phenomenon known as technophobia, the fear of technology, which I see more and more amongst our older persons. Now, what is the impact of the pandemic on mental health of our older persons? I mentioned just now about loneliness, and loneliness has been an issue with the older person community way before COVID-19 struck us. But the onset of this pandemic has made this issue more clear. It has shown a spotlight on this issue. Okay, loneliness is defined as a state whereby there is a discrepancy between desired and perceived quality and quantity of social relationship. So what this means is that the older persons usually crave um, to be with people. They want to be with people, but they don't get to be with people. So there is this jarring difference between what they want and what they actually have. And an increase in loneliness has also been shown to be associated with adverse mental health outcomes, increase in physical illness, and is also a risk factor for increased mortality, which is death, and also the onset of new medical comorbidities. For example, cardiac uh, morbidities. Okay, and they've also shown that increasing loneliness is associated with worsening cognition, processing speed. Okay, and what this translates to is that if you're going to um, allow our older persons to be in a state of loneliness for many, many years, we are going to increase their risk of eventually developing dementia. Okay, and this is the data that was shown by Gao et al. In the year 2013. Now, depression is also a very significant impact of this pandemic, and I run the old age clinic at the University Malaya Medical Center, and a lot of the referrals that I receive from my colleagues are actually older persons who are suffering from depression, especially after this pandemic has started. And depression usually refers to the clinically significant feelings of despair and despondency that they feel. Now, it's really different from just feeling sad or just feeling the blues. Most of us have times in our life whereby we feel down, we feel low. Okay, but when someone is clinically depressed, this means that there is a decline in functioning. Okay, and in the older person, signs of depressions are particularly hard to pick up because they don't really express sadness. Okay, they don't come out and say, look, I'm not feeling well. I don't feel myself. So older persons usually suppress these feelings and they manifest their depressive symptoms in various different ways, particularly in somatization. Okay, meaning that their depression usually manifests in body aches, headache, neck pain, and things like that. So it may be particularly difficult to pick up. Now, how is clinical depression diagnosed? Now, the cartoon on your left hand side of the screen is the DSM-5, also known as the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual 5. Now, in order to diagnose clinical depression, we need 5 out of 9 features. Okay, and those are the features you see on the screen. You need to have low mood, loss of interest, which are both the cardinal symptoms of clinical depression. Patients usually have poor sleep. Sometimes they may even have excessive sleep. So usually these are categorized into sleep disturbances. They have feelings of guilt. There's loss of concentration, loss of energy, loss of appetite, psychomotor retardation, which means slowness of movement. Okay, and at the end of the spectrum, we have patients who present with suicidal ideations. This is something that we really want to prevent. These symptoms need to be there for at least 2 weeks. Now, you may have heard of the concept of uh, geriatric giants. This is a concept that was coined in 1965 by Bernard Isaacs, which actually refers to the 4 types of disability that causes a lot of impairment to our older persons. The first one is immobility, the second one is incontinence, the third one is instability, and the fourth one is impaired intellect, also referring to dementia. And research has shown that the presence of depression strongly contributes to the development of these 4 issues, which quite frequently plagues our older person populations. We really want to prevent them from developing depression, because once they develop depression, they are they go on this downhill slope and they deteriorate rather fast. Now, maintaining daily activities and a sense of routine is extremely important, uh, especially because it helps them to maintain a sense of connection to their old pre-COVID world. Now, before COVID, people could travel quite easily. They could cross states, they could cross country, they could meet their loved ones. They didn't need to rely so much on Zoom or on Skype or on Facebook and things like that in order to communicate. But now with the onset of the pandemic, everything has changed, isn't it? They just can't. And sometimes for our older persons, it's quite difficult to wrap their heads around the fact that the world is never going to be the same again. Okay, so getting them to be involved in a routine and focusing on their daily activities of living keeps them oriented to the present reality. So keeps them grounded, keeps them anchored to the present. Okay, and it's important to note that more than 80% of older persons have actually reported changes in their social routine during this pandemic, and this has been an extremely destabilizing factor. Now, what are the types of routines that we have? There are 2 types. One is known as a primary routine, and these are behaviors necessary for maintaining livelihood and their biological needs. So, for example, sleep, maintaining hygiene, such as brushing their teeth, their toiletries, and also bathing, and also eating, of course. Okay, and you have the secondary routines, which reflect individual preferences and motivation. So these are things like exercising, leisure activities, work, doing the things that they like, for example, gardening or swimming or going for a walk and jogging. So there are 2 types of routines here. Now, how do we maintain this routine or these daily activities during the pandemic? So one suggestion is that we should ask them to prioritize their primary routines, but these are easier to be done. So focus on regular healthy diet. um, Ask them to focus on their sleep, make sure they're getting adequate amounts of sleep, and get them to focus on their hygiene as well. And these should be prioritized over their secondary routines. Okay, so there are 3 ways to maintain these routines. The first one is known as consolidation. So ask them to consolidate, to reinforce the routines that they had even before the pandemic. So if their routine was, for example, to get up in the morning, go make themselves a cup of coffee, and then go for their um, for example, morning walk, or even just their morning yoga in the porch of their house. So if this was their routine in the morning, get them to consolidate it in this pandemic. So the pandemic doesn't mean they have to change this routine. Ask them to continue doing it. Replacement simply means that at times they may have to replace their routine with another routine. For example, before the pandemic, maybe they could go to the park and they could join Tai Chi sessions with their friends. And this is something that they look forward to. But with the movement control order and the lockdown measures, now they can't do that anymore. So you can get them to replace it with perhaps just doing stretching exercises in their house, so at the balcony. So this is an example whereby we have replaced one routine with another. Okay, the third one is the adoption of new routines. So, for example, before the pandemic, they could meet their loved ones quite easily. They could, just go next door, or they could go, like if they were staying in Ipoh, they could drive down to Batu Gajah to meet their family members. But with this pandemic, they've have to get used to Zoom. They've got to get used with Skype in order to meet their loved ones. So that's the meaning of adoption of new routines. They adopt new routines to be more comfortable with their way of living. Now, what can we do to maintain this routine? Okay, besides those three things um, that I mentioned just now, what are the further things that we can do to maintain this routine? So the first one is make sure they're always connected. So now we need to encourage our older persons to be familiar with technology, social media, especially very important to foster relationships. A research in 2010 actually evaluated the use of video conferencing, and what they found is that seeing someone on the screen, okay, that means by means of a video conference or a video call, was found to decrease loneliness and was very effective in bringing down anxiety that is associated with that loneliness. And we need to be patient in teaching our older persons how to use these various technologies in order to communicate, for example, using FaceTime or to video call. And oftentimes I find that we younger people are often impatient with our older persons. We're like, yeah, why they don't know? This is so simple, so they can't do. And then we get angry with them. And this oftentimes leaves them quite hurt and quite upset. Make sure they're eating properly. So I spoke just now about the primary routine. Eating is an example of a primary routine. Make sure they're eating well. They need to take enough amounts of protein, enough amounts of carbohydrate, fruits and vegetable to build up their defense against the virus. Okay, and those who have chronic medical illness, they need even more nutrition. And them being in a state of malnutrition increases their risk of getting COVID-19 as well. Okay, and we really need to also get into the habit of assessing our older persons for nutritional deficiencies. We need to look at the fact that as they get older, they lose more muscle mass, they lose more weight, and eventually they become thinner and thinner. And has also been associated with more medical illnesses as well, and they become more frail. So make sure they're eating well. How do we encourage our older persons to eat well? Because we know as we age, we lose appetite, we lose interest in food. So some tips is that we can ask them to switch to smaller meals and ask them to eat small meals more frequently. Get them to eat food that are high in calorie, for example, cheese, peanut butter, milk, pudding. Okay, avoid sugary and high carbohydrate food. We want foods that are rich in vitamins, high in protein, and high in fatty oils. Okay, and also omega-3. Now, these are some ideas to increase calories in food. You can give them, for example, porridge with full fat milk, with dried fruits, sardines on toast, a very cheap meal, easy to do, peanut butter, excellent source of calorie. Maybe we can give them the version that is without salt and sugar, which they do sell nowadays at the supermarket. Shepherd's pie, a good amount of carbohydrate, which is important for energy, beets and cheese, good source of protein, milky drinks, very good for their source of vitamin D and also calcium. It's a good bedtime snack, and some people have told me that drinking milk before sleep helps them to sleep better. Avocado on toast is also another excellent source of protein. All easy to do and to prepare. Okay. The next step is to ensure adequate physical exercise. Exercise has been shown to improve mental health outcomes in the older person. So you don't need to do much, just 15 to 25 minutes a day. Okay. Maybe 2 to 3 times a week. And there was a research in 2016 that showed that if you sustain this exercise for just 4 weeks, it was shown to improve self-esteem and quality of life scores. And they also showed that regular exercise brings down death rates, improves global functioning, and improves cognition as well. The Swedish people are known for doing long-term cohort study because they have this excellent registry back in their country. So this is some data from the Swedish National Aging and Care Cohort, where they studied 860 older persons, and these people were made to do both strenuous and light exercise. And what they found is that at the end of the study period, they had a reduction in their depression scores. Okay, and the more frequent they exercise, the more improvement they had in their depression. What are the types of exercises that we can do? So no matter how old you are or how frail you are, there's always something that we can do. Okay, so there are three types of exercises for our older persons. Number one is aerobic activity, which focuses on increasing the oxygen levels in the body, okay, and to raise up the heart rate. Second one is muscle strengthening activities, and the third one is balance training. So what are the examples of aerobic activities? For example, you can walk, you can jog, you can even dance and do some light Zumba. That's quite fun, right? So it increases the heart rate. If you're more frail, okay, even if you're slightly older, you can not do so much of aerobic activities. You can then focus on muscle strengthening activities, also known as calisthenics. Now, the word calisthenic means using your own body as a form of resistance. So you can do stretching exercises. Yoga is a form of muscle strengthening exercises. Okay, just doing stretching. This helps to improve tone. Using some light weights may be useful as well. Balance training is another interesting idea. What you can do is you can stand on tiptoe, then back again. You can stand from a sitting position and you repeat doing this. You can walk sideways, walk forwards, and then walk backwards. All this helps to improve balance. Now, of course, if you are a very frail older person, you may want to do this with the supervision of someone else. Now, the last step is, well, second last step really, is to ensure proper sleep hygiene. Research has shown that a short nap, just about half an hour between 1 to 3 p.m., was shown, and also in combination with moderate exercise, was shown to improve overall sleep quality. Okay, and what they found is that when you improve sleep quality, you're going to ultimately improve quality of life. And this is old data from 2004, but is also valid until now. So what I would suggest for older persons is take a short nap in the afternoon, just for about 20 to half an hour max. And that I find, even in my interactions with some of my patients as well, that helps to improve the overall sleep quality as well. Okay, and improved sleep was associated with more energy, high daytime activity, improved self-esteem, improved ability to do the activities of daily living, and eventually their overall cognition as well, which involves memory. So sleep, very, very important, a form of primary routine. Now, lastly, do what you love. I want our older persons to indulge in their hobbies. Do what you love. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't procrastinate. Spend time with your loved ones. Don't be afraid to embrace technology. It's really not that difficult. Okay, reach out when you need help. Eat well, sleep well, and eventually, ultimately, live well. Stay informed. Keep in touch with the pandemic, but don't overwhelm yourself with all the negativity that comes around. Okay, let us strive to hope. And there's always a lot of hope. Now, I'd like to end my presentation with this summary slide. Always remember to relax. And we always underplay the role of relaxation, but it is so, so important. As a psychiatrist, I would strongly advocate you to just try and relax every now and then. So it could be as easy as just practicing deep breathing, seeing a relaxing movie, meditating, maybe even getting a massage, or just having a warm drink and soaking in a warm bath, reading a good book. You know the things that help you to relax. So please keep time for this. This will really, really help you in the long run. With that, I'd like to end my presentation. Thank you very much. Do follow me and stay connected with me through my various social media handles. And I'll pass the stage back to Dr. Gillian. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, Dr. Ben. Yeah, very informative. Actually, I took down a few notes, but I would keep that questions until the end of these sessions after we
Sure,
have heard
Dr.
from the
Gillian.
second
Thank you.
speaker. Yeah, I have
Thank
so
you.
much thing to ask you as well. So, well, we have got a few tips from Dr. Ben just now. I do resonate with you in terms of, physical exercise being one of the solutions for us in terms of mental health, not just for mental health, but actually, it helps us in terms of getting fit and healthy at the same time. But I do know that not many seniors out there, or maybe their family members, they don't know what kind of exercise that is suitable for them. So yeah, but well, besides exercise, well, maybe they can do some form of like aerobic exercise, like you mentioned, yeah. Because
Yep.
I would say maybe sometimes stretching, if they don't stretch it correctly, sometimes they might actually get a strain, on their muscles. Yeah.
True.
So yeah, let's stay on until the end of it so that we can ask question. So the next one, I'm going to actually introduce another speaker. Okay, this person, I would say that she is actually a very vibrant lady, yeah, and who is no strangers in the silver community. So she's a role model to many people, yeah. And she completed her master in applied gerontology from Nanyang Technological University in Singapore at the age of 70. Yeah. So last year, she turned into a filmmaker. She made a documentary about senior life called Meniti Senja, The Twilight Years. And she's also a blogger, a founder of Senior Aloud, an online community of seniors to promote active, healthy aging and lifelong learning. She's also the Vice President of University of Third Age in KL and Selangor. So let's welcome Madam Lily.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Lily.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my, Dr. Ben.
Hello.
Yeah, you've covered so much, I don't know
Yes.
what
And a
is there
kind,
for me to
and
talk.
kind words, Madam Lily. I'm sure they are quite eager to hear from you. First-hand experience.
Yeah,
Yes, from your perspective.
right.
Yeah,
Your
because I know,
presentation was
Lily.
so educational. Yes.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Lily, you have done a lot for the community, right? Yourself, even though during the MCO and after CMCO and all that, I know you have been engaged in the social activity a lot. So yeah, let's hear from you,
Yeah,
and maybe
maybe
some
that
of
is
us
what I
can
should
pick up.
focus on, the actual social activities, right? Yeah, and maybe
Yeah,
I
over to
could
you.
share.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe I could share my personal routine as well, since you touch on
Yes.
routine, Dr. Ben. The last 1.5 years, I think, has been very difficult for most of us seniors. From day one itself, we've been told, that we are the vulnerable group. We should stay at home. We should not do this. We should do that. And a whole lot of advice coming in to us, And it can be quite depressing, especially for seniors who live alone. And the number of seniors living alone is really increasing very fast. And these are the ones at risk, unless they know what to do, being alone at home, right? 24/7 almost, because you never know when this COVID is going to end, when the SOP will be lifted, and so forth. So for me personally, because I also am one of these cases living alone, yeah. What I do every morning, if you visit our seniors allowed Facebook, there's a cover photo with the two lines that says, you start the day with hope. Start the day with hope and end the day with gratitude. So that has been my mantra, and I hope for the community as well. So early in the morning when I wake up, you know how it is when you wake up after hours of sleep at night, your whole body is aching, especially at this age. So the first thing I do before I even have breakfast is to do at least half an hour to 45 minutes of exercise. I'm lucky to have a balcony where I can get some fresh air and sun, And I do, for me, very, very important. Okay, for those who are listening, what kind of exercises do I do? I think Dr. Ben has covered them, but I will give you a little bit more specific details, all right? I always start with stretching. To me, I think stretching is very important, because stretching, if you don't know your joints, if you don't exercise your joints, you become very stiff. You can't even bend over, to touch your toes. Every muscle, and muscles as well, muscle strengthening. So your joints, if you're able to move 360, do 360 exercise, right? If you can't, you can only move, the joint can only allow you to move 180, go for 180 kind of stretching exercise. Basically, just oil your joints. Yes. And then cardio is very important. That's Dr. Ben also mentioned aerobic. Anything that pumps up your heart, exercise your heart muscles, that's good for you. You don't have to be very strenuous. And I think that the other thing is muscle. I have weights. I do
Muscle
weights.
strength. Yes.
Yeah, muscle strengthening. So you won't be frail when you're older.
Yes.
So our goal and balance. Recently, I've taken up Tai Chi again, so that I can be more balanced. Because falls is one thing that older people should guard against. Once you fall, goodness gracious, there may be hip surgery and so forth. So that is kind of going downhill. So guard against falls, and the best way to do it is, know how to balance, keep your balance so that you won't fall. Yeah. So these are the physical side. Now, on the mental side, it's also very important. We shouldn't neglect our brain cells. A lot of people seem to think, oh, once you reach this age, right, you are too old to learn anything. That is rubbish. That's nonsense. Sorry, my language. I have to be quite harsh sometimes, to get people to, follow some advice. So I'm very, very happy to introduce those who are listening who have not heard of University of the Third Age to go and check them out on the Facebook, because I've been, some of us here have been members since 2011, and we enjoy learning together, because that's also the social connection that you get, not just learning, but the social connection as well, making new friends. Right? And this year, for example, we are offering more than 50 short courses. Check them out. Just Google Facebook University Malaysia, U3A Malaysia. U3A Malaysia will get you there to the Facebook. And you can see all our course schedule. So that is exercising your brains. Learn something new, whether it is a new language, like we offer Korean, or a musical instrument. We also offer ukulele classes. So music is very, very important, because it kind of releases the happy hormones, from you. And every day I sing. I sing by myself, it's fine. Nobody can hear me, it's okay, And my favorite radio channel is actually Vintage Radio Singapore. Google it, Vintage Radio Singapore. Right? And it keeps me with going in the back, when I do exercises, when I read the papers, and so forth. Lots and lots of songs from the old days. Oh, I love them. I sing along. And it's amazing when you think that, you sing along and you think you haven't sung this song for 50 years. But somehow, I don't know how to explain it, the lyrics come up. The lyrics pop up, and you just sing along. And it's in 4 languages. So for those who want to listen to Mandarin, Tamil, Malay songs, just go check it out. Vintage Radio Singapore. Okay, that's physical, that's mental. And for social, like I said, join U3A. You can make new friends there through the courses you take, or join our community, Seniors Allowed. It's free. Just go to our Facebook, sign in there, free. And we have monthly, because of COVID, we can't meet. So we have monthly meetup where we just get to know one another better. We invite speakers, and and this, because October is International Day of Older Persons, the whole month is filled with activities. And for us personally at Seniors Allowed, we are going to have a virtual celebration next, I think it's on the 11th of October, only for members. So if you want to join us, sign up. Yeah, we got a lot of very fun programs, singing and dancing and games and so forth, celebrating this month for older persons. Dr. Gillian, you must stop me if I get carried away.
No. Go ahead. I think it'll be fun to listen to you. Yeah. No worries. Yep.
Okay, so I've got this physical and mental and social. Social, I think the last 1.5 years has been tough for the seniors, not just because we have to stay at home, but because of loss. We have lost friends, because of this age group, and we have lost family members as well. Not just through COVID, but some of us through other, like cancer, for example, or just old age. I lost my mom in February this year, right? She would have been...
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, she would have been 95 this month. Her birthday is on the 10th of October. So these are some of the things that we go to, the grief, how to handle it. Especially during COVID, you are limited. You can't even go and visit them or be with them during their final days, or hold them, right? This is tough. We have lost, not, like I said, friends, family members, even spouse as well. So we need to, it is all up to us. I always feel that, everything begins with us. If you don't reach out, nobody knows. If you need to talk to someone, call up. half an hour ago, I was just given a new number to call for those who need some support, mental, psychological, and it's GEM. You Google it, Facebook, GEM, right? It's a new one. I just got it. Someone sent it to me. And of course, it's also befrienders. Or call me. I do a bit of counseling myself, qualified, Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I do a bit of counseling on dementia because I went through 11 years of Alzheimer's with my mother. So in that sense, I can help a little bit. Yeah. I also studied it. Okay. So what else, Dr. Ben? Like I said, you covered so many things. I don't know what else.
Yeah.
I am guilty. At least after listening to you, Dr. Ben, I'm guilty of two things which I find very hard to follow from your advice. Right? I tell myself this also, but it's tough lah. First on the list is actually sleep. I'm a night owl.
Oh no.
But it's good that you just told us that in the afternoon, put in, slip in half an hour.
Yeah.
Yes, power nap.
Yeah, power nap, right?
Correct.
In the old days, we used to call it 40 wings, but it's more than 40. Yeah. Okay. Then I also feel so guilty of squeezing that in because I normally sleep about 1 a.m. Right?
Oh, it's a bit late, huh?
Yeah. And I wake up early because of all the years of teaching. You have to wake up early to go to school. So it's already my biological clock now. So that's one. And the other one is nutrition. Okay, I have to be guilty of that because I don't know. I have this philosophy, good or bad, I have no idea. That life is for living. So of course you have to look after your health. So every now and then I do indulge. Yes. I do indulge in naughty snacks. Okay? I think you know what naughty snacks is.
Yeah, but that's fine. You look very fit, for your age. You're very strong and robust.
Cannot be too strict, life. You just want to enjoy it.
Yeah, correct.
But I do try and stay away from, the white stuff. Not cocaine. Not heroin.
Mean salt.
You know what I mean? Like salt, sugar.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I do try my best to stay away and don't eat too much. Now,
correct.
Because
moderation.
Now we're at home so much, we are not so active. I actually eat one meal a day.
Wow.
Yeah. Breakfast is very important. Breakfast is very important. Yeah. And somewhere between lunch and dinner, I squeeze one meal in.
Oh, that's it. Huh? Oh, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. Then, of course, towards about 8 o'clock or so, then maybe a light snack, and that's it. Yeah. So that's my exercise routine, mental exercise. I write every day. I'm writing because I manage. I think in total 6 social media platforms. So that's a lot of But I also try myself. I know, you can easily get carried away on the computer. So what I do is, and I've told everybody who follows me, right? They know what I do. I use my kitchen timer. I put it to 1 hour. Then I put it far away from me, from my computer. So when it makes the alarm goes, I have to get up and go out and turn it off, and then get a drink of water. I get a drink of water. So it tells me every hour, get up, move, do something different. Don't sit at your computer. These are the little things, practical things. All of us here can really think of something that we can do. The little things, because it's very individualized, it's very personalized, depending on the kind of life we have, the routine that we have. Yes.
Yep.
Can you share with us maybe tips like for someone who are staying, let's say with their children, and when the children are actually at home, during this MCO period, they got to work. But as a parent, what can they do to keep themselves so-called occupied with their time at home? What is the one thing that they can actually kickstart? Maybe an advice from you. If let's say they don't blog, or they cannot go out, do exercise and all that. What is the one thing that perhaps they can do at home?
Yeah, we have done a short video, of our seniors members. I compiled them together, showing them what they've been doing at home during this period.
Great.
Right? And I intersperse their photos with motivational quotes. Yes.
Wow.
So, for example, we've got members sending me pictures of them playing games, board games with the children, gardening, doing gardening, cooking, baking. These are the things that they have been doing. Projects, making quilts for the baby. Baby, and
nice.
quite a lot actually. Recently I've been trying to encourage some of them, because some of them maybe they would like to have some income during this time.
Yes.
So we have been encouraging them to go into home-based business, and we provide them, or at least a bit of help on how to go about it, since they're young. Yes, we get experienced entrepreneurs to come in and give talks, and teach them hand-holding for a while. We have actually got someone in our group who already started, and we are supporting her by ordering from her. So this is what community spirit. You help each other, support each other. But these are real what you call practical can-do activities.
It's not very hard to start, right?
It's not. And I would highly recommend that those who live alone, or even with a family, because you can be living together with family or with friends and still feel lonely.
True.
Right?
True.
Because
I can totally resonate
we don't
to
share
that.
the same kind of interest.
Exactly.
So
that's good. That's good.
These are some things
thanks for sharing all this.
Right. You can introduce for yourself, bring it to your new routine. Yes.
Yeah. I can see actually quite a number of comments, from in the comment box, right? Some they said, they will do housekeeping, some said cookings and all that. Yeah, feel free to share, whatever that you have been doing during the MCO period.
I have to say this, and this one goes out to the men who are listening in.
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse Dr. Ben. Not for you. You have all the answers.
Thank you.
All the advice. Okay. So this message goes out to the men. Like you said, Dr. Gillian just mentioned housekeeping.
Yeah.
So the women are actually quite busy at home, besides looking after grandchildren if they're living.
Oh, yes.
They have a lot on their hands actually. It's the men who suddenly find that they got nothing much to do. Right? Besides reading papers, watching football, what else is there? I don't see men sweeping the floor. Or maybe some will cook. Laundry.
Or gardening.
Machine. What is there? So we do have a member from our community who actually took up carpentry. Yes.
Wow, that's nice.
Making things. Or repairing stuff.
Yes.
So these are things that the men can do. And then, sorry, men, I have to also scare you, because sometimes you will only move when you are scared. Sorry, I've been studying COVID statistics. I've been studying the COVID. And I'm sure Dr. Ben will agree with me that it's not in favor of the male gender.
You're right. There are more deaths, and they fall sick more, I find, compared to the female counterparts.
Right, and comorbidities also higher.
You're right. Right.
So these are the things. That's why you have to scare them, just like us. Even for the women.
Healthy fear. Correct.
It sometimes take a little bit of a scare or emergency to really get you going.
Yes. Then they look seriously into the problem.
Otherwise, you just take things as they are. No change. When there's no change, don't expect results, success.
True.
Things just go on, the same as ever. Right.
Yeah. I think we can now. We can. I think Lily has already covered most of it, especially sharing your own experience and all that. And as I mentioned just now, during the pandemic, even though we are not able to come out, but there's so much activity that we can do at home. But most importantly, sometimes I think that it's a companionship. If let's say you're staying alone, sometimes you just have to pick up a call and call your friends and start talking to them. And with this note, I'd like to thank both of you, and we will start taking some questions from the floor. I do have one question to ask you, Dr. Ben. Now you mentioned that there are primary routines and also secondary routines, right? To actually detect a person whether they are having, any depression and all that. What if a person they can still perform a primary routine, but they are unable to have any secondary routine anymore, like hobbies and all that. Do you then classify them as a mild depression or early form of depression?
No, I mean, if they can only do their primary routines, then we should get them to focus on their primary routine. So not being able to have a secondary routine is fine. So if all they do is, if they can only wake up in the morning and they can do some simple stretching, they can go brush their teeth, make themselves a cup of coffee, have a bath in the morning, and then wear their clothes. So we should get them to reinforce these things, because it's quite empowering to be able to do the simple things in life. And I think this will help them to have a sense of being grounded. It's an anchor for them.
True.
In a world that is always changing, their routine is unchanged, and that constancy is very, very important.
Yeah. Good. All right. Understand. Thank you very much. Any questions do we have from the comment? Is yoga okay for elderly?
Yeah, excellent. So I would like to recommend. I'm sure Madam Lily knows about this as well. Chair yoga. It's excellent. You just need to sit on a chair and move your body.
Yes.
You can do it to a dance tune. You can do it to vintage music. It's excellent. You just need to sit on the chair and move your body, and anyone can do this, no matter how frail you are. You don't even need to, you don't need to have to know how to walk even. Just sit on a chair. Even if you're paralyzed, you can do it. And this is a very, very beautiful way of getting yourself just to move your limbs, like what Madam Lily is doing first thing in the morning. Move your limbs, try and wake up your body, and try and arouse yourself.
From top
This is really good.
toes.
Top to toe,
Yes.
correct.
Yeah, wiggle
And
the
you
toes
can,
as well.
yep, and you can do it to the tune of your favorite song, for instance. And this is really great.
And I would like to add something here regarding chair exercise, since you mentioned it, Dr. Ben. You're reminding me, I'm going to post later after this, right? A chair exercise video done by one of our U3A University of Third Age member. And the reason why I'm going to share it is because this video has got 1.6 million views.
Wow.
So for a local video, that is fantastic.
It is.
I'm going to post it right on our Facebook, and then you can follow it. This is
right. I will also go and like and follow your page after this, U3A. I'll do that first thing after this.
Follow our page as well.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah. So we have another question from Annie Hay. She's asking, is chair exercise good for the elderly? Yes, I would say yes. Coming from this background of exercise for seniors, right? Well, at the beginning, when the seniors first introduced to exercise, of course, chair exercise is actually a very good form of exercise to keep themselves stable. If let's say they have mobility issues, or they are prone to falls and all that. So exercise with chairs, whether you can have a chair in front of you or you can sit on a chair. There are many top form of exercise. I guess like from just now, Madam Lily mentioned, maybe you can check out the link for exercise using chair. Then you can get a lot of exercise from there already. Right? Are we good? Well, let's keep it coming. Questions? Okay, Lily, I do have another question for you then. I know you have helped quite a number of seniors out there, whether you know them or you do not know them. Someone maybe, just refer to you. When a person is going through a depression, as a friend, if they don't tell you, how can you actually detect or what kind of things that you can say to them so that they are more open up to you and they will start telling you the issues that they have?
I think it's easier for, I don't know, the pros and cons. Some people will say that it's easier to open up to a friend that you can trust. And some will say, no, it's easier to open up to a stranger.
Yes. Yes.
But interestingly enough, and maybe Dr. Ben can elaborate on this, right? I don't know why most people, when they need to talk to someone, they don't think of their immediate family members.
Yeah.
Why is that?
You're right. Yeah, I think probably they feel embarrassed maybe, or they feel that they won't be taken seriously because they are seeing these people every day. So you're right. It's quite an irony actually. They don't confide to those closest to them. And that's a part of the problem as well. There's a sense of disbelief. They feel that they may not be taken seriously, you know.
I think to be a good counselor or to help someone, you got to be a good listener as well.
Definitely.
You just have to listen and show that you are really, listening 100%.
Yep.
And not be distracted, your eyes looking somewhere, or whatever it is. If you're on the phone, then you have to be there all the time, and not cut in with your own experience, right? They want to listen.
Yeah.
They want you to listen to them, not
Yep.
that they want to listen to your experience. Yeah, or maybe you can just say
Yeah.
one or two sentences, to let them know you've been there before, so you know what's it like. But that's it. Full stop. Don't go beyond that. It is their story. You listen to them.
Yes.
Right? And then you advise.
Yeah. We have the questions from, thank you very much. We have the question from Heather Lee. She's asking, how long should an elderly exercise a day? Dr. Ben, would you like to answer that?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite variable, really depending on what the fitness level is of the older person. So I would say anything between 15 minutes to about half an hour would be good. If you can do it about 3 times a week, that'll be enough, when it comes to aerobic exercises. But of course, if you can do like Madam Lily, do it every day, just doing stretching and yoga exercises, that's fine as well. So really it's up to the fitness level. But as a general rule of thumb, I would say 15 to half an hour, about 3 to 4 times a week, that'd be more than sufficient.
I just like to add on to that, because of social media. Many of us are in social media groups, right? Chat group, WhatsApp, and you see a lot of people. They do it out of kindness, out of wanting to help. They will post exercises, exercise videos and stuff like that. But the word of caution here, right? If you have not been exercising for a long time, do not follow what is shown there. You know your own body.
Yes.
In the video, the younger ones, the young instructor jumping up and down, you don't go and do that. You regulate or you tear your muscle. Do at your own level.
That is true. That is true.
Because we are just circulating. We are circulating all these videos. And they say, oh, this is good. Good for who? A lot of exercises, just like medicine. It is personalized. What works for somebody may not work for you, because you've got other problems maybe affecting your health, or your fitness is not quite there. So unless you have a foundation, do not jump straight into some tough ones. Go easy, go slow. Listen to your body.
Yeah. And just now Heather was asking actually for a 90-year-old man, regarding the exercise, elderly exercise for a day. So she's actually referring to a 90-year-old man. Yeah, so I think the questions and the answer to this is what Lily has spoken. Yeah, it really depends on the individual. Yeah, if they have not gone through an exercise for some period of time already, so they have to start it really slow, go by maybe 10 minutes first, and then you slowly increase to 15 minutes or even a half an hour a day. So next questions is from Annie Hay. Yes, Dr. Ben, what's your advice for depression patients who are suicidal?
So those patients, our older persons who disclose that they're having death wishes or even suicidal ideations, of course, must be taken, extremely seriously, because suicide is quite prevalent amongst the older persons, and they're extremely subtle about it. Sometimes they don't really disclose it, and that's what makes it really worrying. So whenever an older person comes up to you and say, look, I feel life is not worth living anymore, that's a red flag. So you got to bring them to seek psychiatric help as soon as possible. This is an urgent referral. And I've oftentimes have to admit these patients to my ward and treat them quite vigorously. Sometimes I've even offered them electroconvulsive therapy for those patients who are very, very suicidal. So most of them do improve with antidepressants as well. So this is a psychiatric emergency. You need to bring them to see a psychiatrist stat.
Yeah, can look for Dr. Ben in UM.
Yes, you can.
So another questions. So another questions from Li Su Juan. She's asking, walking a dog for 15 to 30 minutes, is it considered exercise every day? Yeah. Well, I would say it is. Yeah, it's like an aerobic kind of exercise, whereby you just move your body, Yeah, but if you want to go further than that, because building muscles is actually very important for seniors, not just aerobic exercise. So strength training is important. Yeah, you should follow that. You should add that into your routine as well. So another questions we have from James. Can you touch on the subject of medical checkup? Okay, medical checkup. Are you
What
saying
kind
that
of medical checkup?
geriatric? Yes. Is it for senior geriatric medical checkup or how so?
Yeah.
Any okay, James, maybe you can be more elaborate on that. Yeah. So we'll take the next questions. Jessie Tan, are gyms safe for elderly? Okay, it depends what kind of gym. If you come to InCare Hub, yeah, our gym is definitely safe for the seniors because the machines are
Nice.
actually built for seniors. Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, do check us out at our website, incarehub.com. Thank you.
Right.
So I
I
think
can
we
say
have
something
overstretched
about.
our.
Oh, okay. I
Oh,
was just
yes,
about to say
yes,
something
yeah.
nice, about the
Yeah,
gym.
please say, please say,
Sure,
please
sure,
say,
sure, sure,
Lily.
sure. Go ahead, go
Carry on.
ahead.
Yeah, because to the audience out there, I have tried out the gym equipment,
Yes.
right, at the
Oh,
center, and
Yes.
I tell you, it's really meant for us, meant for seniors.
fantastic.
Very safe,
Yes.
very, very safe, and you do get to exercise your
Yes,
muscles.
yes.
I have to check it out as well. I've first time actually I've not heard of this
Oh,
gym
yes,
at
yes.
at your
Yeah,
center,
do
so I
come
must
by,
come and
do
check
come
it
by
out.
when we open.
I will.
Yes, yes, yes. You're welcome. Yeah. So we have, I think we will take this as the last question because we overstretched our
Yep.
time a little bit already. From Annie Hay, Dr. Ben, what does depression patients have frequent? Why do they have frequent
Yeah.
mood
So
swings?
so mood swings, or in sort of medical psychiatric jargon, they call it mood lability. It's sometimes a feature of depression, whereby they're quite irritable sometimes. They have ups and downs. They are sad at some times, but also quite angry and irritable at other times. And this is a feature of depression. And oftentimes we think of depression as only having low mood, but that's not right. A lot of people who are depressed are oftentimes not only sad, they're also angry as well. They have a short fuse. They get upset very fast. They are highly irritable, and this represents people who are depressed. So depression can be viewed as a spectral illness. It's an illness that has a whole range of presentation, especially for older people. I find is not so straightforward. So if you're seeing any older persons who are getting more irritable at times, they're having really high ups and downs, you might want to think that perhaps this person is depressed, and you might want to get them to seek help.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think yeah, that's the end for the Q&A session. So now we have moved to another segment, which is the lucky draw. Okay, thank you for all of us
I
who
think
are staying until now. So we will start our lucky draw very soon. So we are giving away 8 tickets to the IH conference. Yeah, so how do we start this lucky draw? Okay, there are some rules to it. Yeah, so maybe you can show that to show the banner to everyone. Okay, when we start this lucky draw, I just need all of us to type something at the comment box. Okay, and I will pick the commenters who commented the whether it's a like, okay, any emoji or any messages. Okay, we will then pick a few of them, 8 of them actually. All right, so yeah, can we have the banner? Okay, so yeah, the lucky draw will start now. And I will pick, okay, commenter number 1, commenter number 5, number 8, number 12, number 18, number 22, 28, and 34. Just keep on typing. Yeah, this is all really about, it's a lucky draw, you wouldn't know whether you'll be getting it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Keep coming. Keep coming, keep coming. Okay, you can keep it coming, and we will actually now start playing our video from the sponsor. Actually, this lucky draw is sponsored by the ImCare Hub, yeah, where we are the gold sponsor for IH Conference. IH Conference is an innovative conference on aging. So they will display technology as well as some kind of, intervention that is good for seniors on how to get healthier and stay longer. So, okay, so let's play our sponsor's video. Welcome back. Do we have our winner ready? Let's see. Let's see who is our lucky winner. Okay, let me see. Start from the first one. Yeah, we start now. Okay, I have our first commenter. Number one is Mr. Tiru Selvam. Yes, you are the first one. And number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Loga Naidu. Congratulations. And now we go to number 5. Lai Ming. Congratulations. And number 12. Shuo Ten Ko. Congratulations. Okay, number 12 now is number 18, yeah? Jadip Jack. Thank you so much for your participation. Number 28. Susie Koo. Congrats, Susie. And of course, the last one. Christine Uy. Congrats, everyone. Thank you so much for your participation. So we look forward to your participation in our next issues, next topic. Can we have our next banner? Okay, next series we are going to talk about, it's also about mental, yeah, the mindset, reframe negative mindset on aging. But this time we will have Professor Dr. Sharo, as well as Puan Zarina, who is also a retiree from the private sector. So she will share from her perspective as a retiree and what she has been through, you know, and for Prof. Sharo, of course, Prof. Sharo will share from the perspective as a geriatrician. So we will see you next week on the 8th of October at 3 p.m. Stay tuned. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ben and Madam Lily. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone. Bye.